Today, I'll be talking about how to prepare your wife, girlfriend, or partner for the possibility of a threat or street assault when both of you are in public. Now, do you have a tactical plan for such a situation? And if not, you need to watch this video. So, what would you do if you and your partner were on the town and the two of you were faced with a dangerous self-defense situation? Who would handle it? How would you handle it? And how can you ensure that the two of you will work together as a team to survive the situation? Well, I've got answers for you. This topic is particularly important for trained fighters and self-defense practitioners. While you might be well trained and prepared for a self-defense situation, more often than not, your partner won't be. In fact, if you haven't had the conversation, your spouse or partner can be a tremendous liability for the both of you. As someone who worked as a bouncer for many years, I can tell you that I've witnessed several instances where a well-meaning spouse or girlfriend would intervene. That could be either verbally or physically, and it would only make matters exponentially worse. In some cases, the intervening partner would get severely injured. As discussed in my book, 1001 Street Fighting Secrets, you need to sit down with your partner or spouse and strategize what each of you will do in the event of a threat or street assault. Think of yourselves as a military unit, each of you serving a different role, yet working in tandem to achieve the same objective. Now's the time for you and your spouse to outline some rules and agreements. For example, who is going to handle the situation, both verbally and physically? How will these situations likely be handled? You'll also need to openly discuss each of your strengths and weaknesses and what you can expect from each other during a self-defense crisis. You'll also need to make certain that both of you are on the same page when it comes to a tactical response. For example, you don't want your spouse grabbing your arms and pulling you back when there's a dire need for a physical response. Unfortunately, I've seen situations where a wife or a girlfriend would hold their husband back from their adversary, only to have him get knocked out in the process. Yes, folks, this happens. This type of strategizing also applies to friends or buddies who frequently hang out with you in public places, or what I refer to as your wingman. You need to also have this conversation with him as well. As the saying goes, proper planning and preparation prevents piss-poor performance. Also, be certain that both you and your partner are familiar with the 5 tactical options of self-defense. These are outlined in my book, When Seconds Count. They include comply, escape, de-escalate, assert, and fight back. Comply means to obey the assailant's command. For example, if both you and your partner are held at gunpoint out of disarming range, and for the purpose of robbery, there's nothing to do but comply. Take out your wallet, hand over your watch, and do what you're told. Escape or tactical retreat means to flee from the threat safely and rapidly. For example, if the two of you are being held hostage and your captor is distracted long enough for your partner to escape, they should do it. De-escalation means strategically diffusing a hostile individual. Not every confrontation warrants fighting back. Often, you'll be able to use de-escalation skills to talk someone out of a possible violent encounter. For example, an intoxicated loudmouth may be just the type of guy you can settle down and lead away from a problem with effective de-escalation skills. Assert means standing up for you and your rights. Through effective communication skills, you can thwart a person's effort to intimidate, dominate, and control you. And finally, there's fighting back, which means using various physical and psychological tactics and techniques to incapacitate your adversary. For example, let's say you're trapped in a dead-end alley by a knife-wielding psychotic who appears determined to butcher the both of you. Your only option here, folks, is to fight back. These are just a few of the many possible examples of the 5 tactical responses. Remember, every self-defense situation is different, and moreover, most situations can be fluid. A dangerous situation might present an escape option at one moment, but quickly turn into a fight back situation at the next. It's also important to go over various hypothetical situations with your partner, so both of you are aware and prepared on how it will be handled. Some situations might include a traffic dispute with an enraged motorist, or the two of you are faced with a group of radical protesters. Perhaps a drunk guy makes advances at your partner, or a mugger demands phones or cash from both of you. The list goes on, depending on the level of readiness the two of you want to achieve. You also might want to consider using certain cue words that only your partner will understand and will inform them of your intentions to strike first. This is called the fifth column tactic, and it's discussed in my book, First Strike. With some effort and practice, the two of you can iron out a rock solid tactical plan when faced with the various dangers that lurk in the streets. Remember, it all boils down to communication and planning in advance.